going to understand what is PCNSC. Okay, let's talk about the certification first. What are the topics that is, what are the things we are going to cover in this particular course? Okay, and then how can we certify that? What is the need of that particular certification? How the classes will be, and I'll be showing around labs, how the labs look like for our doing this those practicals and all, and also I will talk about the duration as well. Okay, so let me just open the certification part. Okay, so this is the website that you can open to see what all examination that is available at Palo Alto Networks. And as Palo Alto is not having only firewall in his portfolio, Palo Alto has multiple devices, multiple places, or multiple solutions they are having for those. Like they have a cloud solution, they have a SOC solution, they have a firewall solutions, Panorama like manager. So they have multiple solutions with them, and for that they have different tracks for their certifications as well. Okay. So right now in this particular course, we are going to focus on network security. Basically, this security operations are basically for the SOC operation, like Security Operations Center, where we do monitoring of the attacks, how can we automate things, and so on and so forth. And the cloud security is all about your cloud security, where you have a infra. It's not in your office. It is basically hosted in the cloud. Cloud provider are like AWS, like Amazon Web Services. Then we have Azure. Then we have global cloud. So there if we build our infra, we have to protect that infra as well. So for that reason, we have a cloud security. We can place security solutions over there as well, and Palo Alto Networks has that. In this particular course, we are going to follow the PCNSC, and we have foundational course, we have generalist, specialist. Now they are going to, this is just a new certification they have announced. Okay, so in this year only, they are going to, we can basically take those examination as well, as we are having the legacy right now, the PCNSE, which covers almost all the topics what you see in generalist and specialist. Okay. Now we will talk about in PCNSE what are the things or what are the topics that we are going to cover. Okay. Now, it's not mandatory that you have to follow foundational, then generalist, then specialist, then you have to go and give the examination. You can directly go and write PCNSE. There is no problem. Okay. Now, PCNSE is basically having a combination of three things. Okay. The first is your own firewall, which is Palo Alto Firewall. As you can see here, let me change this. So this is basically for firewall. Okay. And then we have Panorama. So Panorama is basically, let's say you have multiple firewalls in your environment, like let's say 20, 25, 30, or 50 firewalls in your environment. So how can you manage those firewalls? You have to have a manager to manage all those firewalls in your environment, right? So for that, we are going to learn, and the troubleshooting part, like how can you troubleshoot a VPN issues, how can you troubleshoot a firewall issue, how can you debug the traffic, how can you do a packet captures. So all these things will come into this particular. So whatever I have talked about, whatever that is there in this, we are going to cover each and every points. Now to see this descriptive way of what are the topics which is there in this particular course, we can just download the data sheet. Okay, just open the data sheet, and we will be able to see all these things. Okay, so these are the recommended, and these are the topics that we are going to follow. Now every topic or every concepts has some kind of value in it. Okay, like if you talk about the core concepts, we have 12%. These in from this particular topic, 12% will be there in the examination, and if we go further, the other topics will have there some kind of contribution to the examination. Okay, now there are few things which we cannot cover in the course. Like I can tell you about the theory part, but I cannot show you the lab for that particularly. For an example, the BPN heat map. So basically for that, it is just a understanding of that. Okay. Now if you want to generate a heat map or BPA reports, basically uh, you have to be customer of Palo Alto Networks. So once you are a customer of Palo Alto Networks, it basically analyzes your configuration, and it basically creates a reports and gives you what is the best practices configuration that can your firewall can have. If you have done some mistakes, or if you have the configuration which is basically allowing a wider rule or something like that, it basically points out saying that this rule is not good, or this rule is not come under best practices or something like that. Okay. Apart from that, if we go further and we'll try to understand the interface type, like first of all, the understanding of OS, the understanding of devices, then we have interface, we have different type of interfaces of a firewall, right? Then we have decryption, then we have user ID understanding, like when we create a rule, or when we are having into routers, like when we configure routings, we configure based on IP addresses, right? We route the traffic from one network to another network, like that, right? Now Palo Alto has that intelligence. It can understand the user information as well. Like if Rahul is basically using the traffic or trying to connect to internet, he can understand Rahul is user and he's trying to connect. So no matter wherever the Rahul goes from one building to another building to some other location, he can understand that he's connecting to internet. So he'll be getting the same access what he was getting in building one, right? So it is based on the user ID, not on IP addresses. We are going to also see that. Okay. Now, if I tell you a very simple example over here, let's say for an example, if I talk about decryption, that you can see over here, the decryption. Let's say you have a PC, and this is a firewall, and this is, let's say, a server. A server can be a Google server, it can be a Yahoo server, whatever server you think about. Now, let's say it basically creates a SSL communication, because nowadays all the web connections are HTTPS connection. So HTTPS connection basically it builds a SSL tunnel between the client machine to the server machine. So it builds a tunnel between both. Once this tunnel is built, now firewall cannot see what client is talking to the server and server is talking to the client. Now, when we connect to a kind of a well-known websites or a popular website like Yahoo, Google, that is trustable website, which is fine. Now, once the user connects to a server which is basically new, or let's say the server we don't know about, it is not much popular. So we are not sure how that bit data is getting transferred from client machine to the server. Now, server can inject something to the client, and the client get infected as well. So to analyze the traffic, we can decrypt the traffic, or the SSL tunnel can be decrypted through the firewall. Now, decryption, what does it mean? Means it opens the encrypted traffic, like just think about it, the traffic which cannot be seen. Okay. So firewall will do the configuration in such a way that the traffic comes to the firewall. Firewall will remove the decryption. It goes to a clear form of text. It reads the text and then re-encrypts and sends to the firewall. Sorry, to the server. So it basically reads all the information what you're sending. The client is sending or the server is responding to it. So in that particular case, if server is sending something which is basically suspicious, it can block by the firewall. So those are the concept that we are going to learn in this particular course, which is very much interesting, guys. Okay. Now, apart from that, we'll go to the core concepts of it as we are going to understand the user, remote user, like the users is working from home, how they are connecting, how the remote sessions are working, how can we configure the Palo Alto so that the user from the remote they can connect and they can connect to the office resources like that. We are going to see those things as well. How can we basically a physical device, like let's say you got a physical device with you. Now how can you multiple can how can you divide a physical device into multiple virtual devices? That is VCC's concept, multi VCs, which I'm going to talk about. We cannot provide the lab for it because we have only virtual devices, and virtual devices cannot be configured with VCs. Only physical devices can be configured. Multi VCs does not have much topic to covered, just to understand about it. Okay, like as you can see, user ID and inter VCs routing, service route administrator. That's all. Okay. Now, after that, once we move further, we are going to understand the security policies like profile. Sorry. So we will have your antivirus, anti-spyware, URL filtering, application control. Then we have file blocking, data pattern, and on so forth. There are so many things which we are going to learn in that particularly. Okay. Then we have high availability, like if we have multiple devices in your network. Okay. Now the some of the sites will be critical, right? So in that particular case, the one server will be active, other Palo Alto will be passive. So if this device goes down, is not responding to that communication, then the passive will take care of it and he'll start forwarding the traffic. Okay, so we are going to see in what scenarios you need to configure HA, what kind of HA modes that you are going to configure. The other mode is active, right? So in what places that you have to configure HA, how can you upgrade the active passive devices, all these things we are going to understand. Okay. Then how can you log into a device? When you are logging to device, which user can access, whether we can have a radius server or tagak server to we authenticate the user, or do we have any AD server to be configured. AD server is basically our Active Directory, the Windows servers, right? Then we can configure the server as a PKI server, which is basically a certificate authority. How can we do that? We are going to see that as well. Then we have something called as routing. So it's not that it is a firewall device, it cannot do a routing, it can do a routing. You can run dynamic protocol as well, like OSPF or BGP or something like that, right? This is one of the important topic that we are going to cover, that is NAT. Like if you are getting a firewall, the primary function of firewall is, like, let's say for an example, an enterprise network. Okay, so if they are going to get a firewall, the primary reason of getting the firewall is the firewall part, like the creating the rules, and the second part is NAT, where Palo Alto is support mostly all the NATs, all type of NATs. Okay, it can be a static NAT, source NAT, destination NAT, U-turn NAT, and so many others NATs, which is possible, which we are going to talk about. Then we have site-to-site VPNs, and like if we have two sites, one site is in US, one site is in Australia. Now, how they are going to communicate, as they are going to communicate on internet, how can you securely communicate from one site to another site, which we are going to see in site-to-site VPN. And don't think that it's been obsolete. No, it's not. Even nowadays, the SD-WANs are also having VPNs only, IPsec VPNs only, right? Then we have quality of service, like some of the application needs quality of service, meaning that, let's say, application for an example, Zoom or Teams. When we go for a video conferencing, in that particular case, we need quality of service over there, like urgency is required over there. So for that reason, we can basically implement quality service over there. Then how can we deploy all these things? We are going to see how can we configure app ID, how can we configure global protect like the remote VPNs, okay? Then how can we configure decryption, user ID, wildfire, web proxy, okay? Then we have something called as panorama. So panorama, as I said it, like if we have multiple devices in your network, right? Let's say 20, 30 devices are there, and you want to configure a small configuration. Let's say syslog server needs to be configured or the SNMP server needs to be configured, right? So you have to go to every device and you have to configure the same IP address to all the device, all the Palo Alto firewall. But if you have a panorama, you can configure into panorama and you can push that configuration to all the devices at once. So it is easy to manage, right? So whatever that you can do it from firewall, pretty much everything that you can perform from panorama as well. Okay, then how can we basically group them? Because there are a certain criteria that not all the devices will have same configuration. So how can we create a group? How can we create a device group? We are going to see in the panorama section. How can we do a licensing and all? Okay, then we have something called as logging part, like how can we collect the logs, how can we create a report, how can we customize the reporting system as well, which we are going to see. Okay, then these are the basically this is already covered. I'll be covering in high availability, the link monitoring, the path monitoring, when the failover will happen in high availability, which we are going to see. And the last is basically our troubleshooting part, troubleshooting related to your user ID, troubleshooting related to site-to-site VPN, troubleshooting related to decryptions, troubleshooting related to routing, all these things we are going to see. Even the NAT policies and the high availability as well, which we are going to cover in this way. Okay. Now, after doing all this, okay, you will be at least in a position or in a condition you can at least understand the issue. Okay, you can troubleshoot the issue. You can basically what feature is required at what kind of condition, you can understand that. Like you can understand when NAT is required, which NAT is required, how can we troubleshoot the NAT, what is the rule that needs to be configured, what is the security policy needs to be configured. So once you complete this particular course, you will have that condition in your mind, which feature is required at what time, in what conditions, basically, right? So that gives a very much understanding about the network as well as from the firewall perspective, right? So who need this particular course, who wants to go further into security path, and he wants to understand the feature what is there in the firewall. It's not about only the Palo Alto. Once you understand the concept, like here and there the configuration will be there for if I talk about Fortinet, if I talk about Cisco Firepower or something like that, any other firewalls which I can talk about, your concept remains the same. Like how you do SSL decryption, you do the same way, the concept remains the same, only there will be some here and there configuration difference will be there, or here and there some concept like related to configuration. I'm not telling you the concepts will be different, no, it will be same only. Okay, so once you understand, you can understand the other firewall as well. And the industry, if I talk about the overall industry for Palo Alto firewalls. Most of the companies, or mostly all the companies, are using Palo Alto networks firewalls nowadays, and they are also seeking for other solutions from Palo Alto network as well. Like, it's not about only firewall; they are going to offer the whole security solution. Once we go to the next class, right, we are going to understand if a company or enterprise goes to Palo Alto Networks, Palo Alto Network can set up their whole security infra for that particular company. They have that particular solutions with them. Even they are having cloud, they are having futures, they are having automation, they are having firewalls everywhere, right? Now, let's talk about what and how the classes will be. Okay. Now, let's talk about one of the topic. I'll take one of the topic and then explain you. Okay. So let's take an example of VPN. Let me change the color. So let's talk about VPN. So in VPN, what we are going to do is we'll go for theory first. Okay. Now it depends. It takes one day mostly. Okay. One class to understand this. Okay. And then we'll move on to, if we requires another day to go on to another topics or to understand the other parts of it, maybe next day 30 minutes or something it might go. Okay. And after that we will be doing the lab. Now, during the theory time itself, you will understand more about it. Okay. Once we do the lab, you will have a complete understanding, and I'll be sharing with you what can be the problem you can face or you can see in real world scenarios. Because whatever that I have faced, I'll be explaining you, and that basically comes. So I'll be sharing my own experiences as well. So this is how any of the topic will be covered: the theory, the lab, and the little bit of troubleshooting and experiencing. I'll be talking about that as well. Okay. So this is all about the classes, how it basically happens. Let's see. Let me show you how the labs look like. I will show you the side-to-side VPN lab. So this is our lab. Where is that? Give me a minute. Hmm. So I'll just go for racks. Mm, So for topic wise, I have all the labs that I have configured. Okay. So let's go for side to side VPN. I was talking about this one only. So let's say this is the side to side VPN, as you can see. So in this side to side VPN, we will be configuring each and everything. It's not that you are going to configure only this Palo Alto part. No, the beauty of this particular lab that you can configure each of the device, because you need to know, let's say if you are working in a production, you if you have a complete visibility that how the traffic flow that is happening from PC, one PC to another PC, the troubleshooting will be faster, or checking that particular issue will be faster, or it will be easier for to manage, right? So you can configure this, you can configure this, you can configure this, each and everything. And I'll be explaining you from partner perspective, from your company perspective, or let's say if this is from the same company itself, how both the sides they are going to communicate. If you are building a side to side VPN with your third party vendor or a partner, how can you build it? What are the information that is required from them? How can you configure? What are the algorithm they mostly use? All these things. Okay. So I'll be explaining everything, and you have to configure them from your side. All this IP addresses, everything from router to ISPs to everything, so that your ISP side understanding also gets increased, right? If things are not working here, you can at least assume that then the side to side VPN will never work, and it is not in our control as well. So if ISP link is not working, I cannot do much. I can just tell, or I can call the ISP to get the connection fixed. That's all I can do. I cannot do anything from firewall end, right? So you need to, I'll make you understand about that perspective as well. Okay. Then we have a duration. A duration is basically daily the class will be happening from, okay, let me tell you, it will be from Monday to Friday, okay, from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m., which is 90 minutes, okay. And basically it will go up to 45 days. I'm telling you about the working days, 45 days, okay. So this is how the course will be, or it depends. Let's say if I go on a leave for some days or something like that, the day might get increased, or the day it just an estimation day. It may go more than that, it may go less than that. If you guys are more understander, or like you if the topics are going little faster in that particular case, we can cover it more faster ways. Okay. So this is all about the course and the classes, the labs, and the duration. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Will the recording be available immediately the next day?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. The recording will be available.
Yeah, because we will get any tools like to practice, like OS or iOS image or something for that. On if you want to configure in a local PC or my personal laptop.
Yes, we will. You will be getting it. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
no problem. Any other questions from anyone?
Because I have one more
Yes,
question
yes, yeah, please.
regarding routing. So in this PCNSC, we will get routing also like BGP or IGRP. This routing protocol also will configure in the lab.
Lab can be configured with OSPF, sorry, OSPF, BGP, or some any other static routing. But I will not tell you about the whole concept. I will, as I
Okay.
expect you guys to have understanding about routing, because we are not covering the routing part, right? We are just covering the firewall. What are the things that firewall can do?
Yeah, okay, okay. Like a BGP and all, we will configure in the route firewall also.
Y-
Is that
Yes,
necessary in the training?
yes, we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one question: what is the prerequisite for this? Because
Yes.
this course is bundled with the CNA, CNP, and I think not the whole thing. So, is the whole CCNP required, or just the understanding of CCNA and CCNP is enough? Because the way this is bundled is CCNA, CCNP, and core, I believe.
If you have a understanding of CCNA, in CCNA, we have a basic concepts of routing. Let's say, for an example, how OSPF works, how OSPF built the neighborship, how BGP works, how BGP built that's all that is required for us to understand. Okay. In that particular case, I just wanted to add in CCNA, if you have more understanding about TCP, UDP, so you have to know about protocols in detail way. So how TCP, in TCP we have multiple flags. What is the use of the particular flags? Okay, because when we try to troubleshoot any issues, when we do a captures, when you do a packet captures, we are going to understand the flags. If you know about it, that will be fine. And when we create rules, we need to understand those actions as well. For that reason I'm asking, or pressurizing on the TCP topic. Okay, at least if you have an understanding of CCNA, I guess that will be helpful, because there you can find the subnetting, and there you can find the basics of networking, the OSI model, all these things. Yeah. You can take this one as a prerequisite. Yeah. And for the CCNP and the core part which you are talking about, like if you want to understand more about redistribution, if you want to know about the depth in the routing, you can basically go on with that. Okay, it's basically not related to firewall technology. You just need to have a understanding about the way you do in the CCNP, you can also do it in firewall as well. That is not a requirement over here. You just need to have understanding. That's all.
Yeah, because do you know when will the weekend batch start?
I guess next week the plan has not been done till now. So weekend, I guess next week we will be starting, but this is not confirmation that I can tell you right now.
Okay.
I will have a word then, and once it starts, you will get the notification as well.
Okay, and what time would the weekend be approx?
It will be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. IST.
Don't-
10 o'clock. So it will be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This will be slot Saturday, Sunday.
Because one question.
Sorry, so you said there is another, sorry to interrupt, there is another slot you said, 10 to 1?
This is basically weekend. This
Yeah,
is
you
weekdays.
have that?
We are going to start, but the dates are not confirmed.
Yeah,
Once it is confirmed, I will let you know
you,
about
you
that.
will take that because I am a working person. I work in the US time. So right now, as you are actually having the class, I am in a meeting. So that
Okay.
would really be helpful if there is a weekend class.
Weekend class will be there, yeah, for sure.
Okay, I will out for that then.
Yeah, okay,
Hmm?
fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Because one question.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of experience and I am good with firewalls. But a few
Mm-hmm.
concepts which I don't know in the
Mm-hmm.
Palo Alto.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go through those old videos what you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
How I can get those?
I guess you for that you have to contact NW Kings. I have no access over there, so you can
Oh,
contact them.
okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. I
Hi, sir.
guess yes, yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go on.
Actually, sir, recently I completed one program of CCNA CCNP from networking right now, just
Mm-hmm.
early, about two,
Mm-hmm.
3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like, my concern is that, sir, still, that as very recently we have completed our course, CCNA CCNP. So
Mm-hmm.
some of the topics might be there, just we have to go mug up for that because might be 2 to 3 times revision still pending from my side, sir, from our side, my side. Okay. So
Okay.
might be, sir, as you have told that you should have the thorough knowledge of all the protocols.
Mm-hmm.
So might be, sir, it can be little bit difficult for me to understand this one. You are
Okay.
saying that
See,
should
I'll
have
tell you one
prepared.
thing. Now, the first day, we can have a understanding of Palo Alto network. Then we will have a understanding of Palo Alto, the initial configuration. So at the start, it will be an introduction, like 2, 3 classes will be an introduction classes, or it will be just theory classes. There will be no lab for it. Okay. Now during that particular time, as it will be an initial time, and you will not have that kind of topic to be covered. During that time, you can go and revise your older videos or whatever the notes that you have in with you. You can just go through that. I guess that will help you further.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions by anyone?
Yes, sir. Just wanted to ask that where will we get the link for the next classes? And
I
if
guess
any,
your users and the user details and the password details will be shared with you once the classes get started, and you will get a notification in your email. This is what I know. You will get notified. Don't worry about that.
okay, and we need to join the classes with the same link every day.
That will be changeable. I guess that needs to be checked with NW Kings again. I'm not sure. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, and if any schedule get changed, then it will be
Yeah.
notified in WhatsApp group or
Yeah. I guess the team will create a WhatsApp group for us, and I'll also inform in the WhatsApp group. And mostly, what happens is it will be informed in the WhatsApp group, but in some of the cases, the team will also get back to you during the days if I have some plans or something.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. One more
Yes,
question, sir. From
yes, 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 yes.
actually, sir, I want to ask you that since my domain is different, sir, presently I'm working for telecom network. Okay,
Mhm,
telecom network is little bit different if you
mhm,
consider this
mhm, mhm.
soft network. Okay,
Yes, yes, yes.
so because of to change my domain only, I have choose this CCNA, CCNP, and all that. Okay, sir.
Mhm,
So, sir, when I will go for an interview or I will go for to change my domain, sir.
mhm.
So, which one I should means this is you can say that it's a CCNA CCNP is different and this is a firewall. So,
Mhm.
what should I show them? Or in resume, what should I mention?
See, if you are good with the routing switching and if you are good with security, you can show them, right? As you have done the labs. I totally understand that you have a different domain and you want to move to another domain. The only thing is that there are two things you can do. One, you can do a certification. The other one, you can do labs. Okay, the more the lab you do, the more understanding you will be getting in. And also you can showcase that particular lab that I have done this lab, I have done this experiment, or I have done in my lab this particular topic and I've got this results. So that basically inspire that interviewer as well, that you are too much passionate about this and you want to move or change the domain. In that case, a particular case, it will be helpful for you, right? If you have more knowledge or understanding about network and security, you have more chances of it. You will have a advantage of that.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes, yeah.
Sir, actually, in present we are changing. I am also from different domain, sir. I want to change from. I am also working as a in telco. I have
Mm-hmm.
one doubt, sir. What is the role in Palo Alto present now it's running, sir? Because I have also faced one or two interviews with firewalls. But
Mm-hmm.
when when keep resume in telco, they
Mm-hmm.
are not. They are expecting a more when compare in Palo Alto side. What is the role in present Palo Alto firewall or any firewall is you having?
Okay, so basically you need to understand how firewall works. Okay, I totally understand and agree that you are in a different domain and you want to move to another domain. There is no problem. I'll tell you. Their expectation and the expectation will be higher. I totally understand that point. Okay, but you have to show what skills that you have learned, right? Why you have enrolled to NW Kings? You have enrolled for to understand or learn the skills like CCNS, CCNP. In CCNS, CCNP, there are so many skills are there. Okay, in Palo Alto, you have so many skills. Once you learn the skills, you can showcase those skills in your resume. Okay, and you can also showcase that what are the things that you have understanding about. Okay, at least you will be part of that particular interview process selection. Okay, once you become to that particular part, the interviewer is not that bad. They are not going to select if you answer them properly, or if you are very much truthful to yourself, or maybe whenever you're speaking to an interview, you have to speak truth, that I have done this particular lab, I have done this. Don't say that I was working in my company with this. No. Do say that I have learned this technology. I have done this lab for this. At least if you are truth to the interviewer, and if he feels that okay, he can learn and he can do the job, they can take you. There's no problem. Okay. So don't worry about that. Ki I will not get selected. What will happen? Their expectation is too high. Don't feel about that. You wanted to move to the other domain. Just do it. Okay. Don't think much on that particular part.
Hi,
Okay.
I have a doubt.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Please.
we will get lab for this, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it will be like during the training, or we'll get more time to access it.
Again, you have to check with NW Kings.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the duration of the lab?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining today. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next class. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.